I played a little bit in high school, just singing backup and stuff, just fooling around with some friends, but then I got out of it, and when I really got into it professionally, started making some money at it, was when I moved down to Charlotte. And a friend of mine insisted that I come sing with him one night, and he took me weeks and weeks, but I finally did it, and so I started singing backup with him, and then we formed a band called The Core, and that was it. That was like 6, 7 years ago, and I've been doing it since. I don't know if I was ever motivated to do it. I just kind of, I lucked into it. I say that all the time, that I just happened to be in the right place at the right time. But, I mean, I just always liked the whole aspect of it, the whole, you know, putting on a show for people. But I don't know, I never thought I could do it myself. I just liked to watch it or to hear it. And then when I got the opportunity to do it and found out that people enjoyed it and I could do it pretty decent, and I've just been riding it. I can remember real early when I was a kid listening to things like Diana Ross and Supremes. I think that was one of my first albums, her greatest hits. And Fleetwood Mac, Streisand, Eagles, all those people, all those big harmony sounds I used to love. And I think that's what I mainly listened to as a kid. And I definitely felt inspired by like the Streisand and the Diana Ross, the whole glamour, the glamorous lady. Much they affect me all the time. If I feel like they're not listening to me, then that affects me. Like if they're totally into it and they're just cheering after every song and they're dancing and having a good time, and then that pumps me up and it just gives me more energy. But if I feel like I have to work a crowd, I mean, I don't mind working a crowd. You know, it's part of the job of performing. But if I'm working the crowd, I want to work them so that they start enjoying themselves. But if I'm trying to work them and I'm getting nowhere, then that can bring me down. It makes it feel too much like work. So the crowd is very important. I've played to 1 or 2 or 3 of my closest friends. You know, luckily for the musicians in Charlotte, we have a pretty good circle of just kinship. I don't really feel like there's competition amongst the bands in town. We pretty much try to work together. You know, I had an experience myself just recently where I lost my voice in the middle of a gig, made a few phone calls, and I had some musician friends that came out and saved me. And, you know, you couldn't have done that if we didn't have a good camaraderie going in the first place. As far as actual, like, female competition, you know, once again, I've been really lucky that here in Charlotte, as far as female performers, there hasn't been anybody doing the same stuff that I've been doing for a long time, and therefore, I did kind of have a corner on a small market in town. So there hasn't been a lot of competition for me, and if there is competition out there, I haven't felt it. I haven't, you know, it hasn't affected me negatively or positively. Now there's a lot more bands in town, a lot more out there to see. So there's competition just in what there is to do in Charlotte these days. It's a bigger town, it's growing, there's more clubs, there's more, you know, just everything. There's just things to do. Anyway, so as far as being major competition out there, I haven't felt it. I don't like to look at it as competition. just more people out there doing their thing. Well, very, very important. The band that I'm with right now, all the guys are great, and they show me respect, and that's big because in my old band, I kind of came from, you know, just this little girl who just kind of sung back up and wasn't real confident and was just kind of happy to be there, to now I'm actually running the band and coming up with the material and booking them, and I want people to respect my opinion. I feel like I have something worthwhile. Anyway, so respect-wise, this band is a lot easier to work with, and I don't feel like I have to bang heads to get my point across. They're also just nice guys that I've had the opportunity to work with in both bands. But it's very important. It's very important. At the end of the core gig, which was my last band, relationships had gotten strained just because we'd been together so long, went through a couple of changes in performers, and was hard to keep it together. It was hard to keep that camaraderie going. But this new band I love, and we get along really great. And they're all talented musicians, and I'm pretty lucky to be in with them. There's an audience for both, I think, but Charlotte, over the years, to me, they've been more interested in the cover scene. They weren't real tolerant of original music, especially just a band that did just originals. They're not making money. They have to travel a lot to make any kind of money. But as far as, you know, for me, right now all I'm doing is covers, so, you know, good for me that Charlotte wants to hear covers. But I have, you know, lots of friends who are trying to make it in the original scene, and they have a hard time here in Charlotte. Even their fans that heard them as a cover band, now trying to do originals, they're not as receptive. They're like, they don't want to hear it. They do and they don't. I mean, they want to be supportive, but they want to go out and have a good time and hear songs that they recognize. I don't know. Charlotte's kind of fickle audience. They love you as long as you give them what they want.